will ask you simple questions. You will answer in short sentences only what you believe to be absolute truth.
Absolute truth. I can do that.
Now, brief as you can, what is your name?
Stanton Carlisle.
Nightmare Alley is something that exists in a realm that I haven't accessed in the past, which is the great narratives of American life that I have admired.
Step right up and behold one of the unexplained mysteries of the universe. Is he man or beast?
Guillermo has typically had fantasy elements in all of his movies, so this film is a first in that it's, you know, a noir thriller.
Mr. Carlisle,
Doctor, how about that?
please lie down.
Guillermo and Kim Morgan have written a really unusual take on the story that's gone down a different rabbit hole.
He beautifully mixes genres. That's what I like about his work. This one has horrific elements in it, but it's really a dark drama with very colorful worlds being explored.
If Shape of Water was about love, Nightmare Alley is about loathing, greed, betrayal. It's about all of those dark underpinnings to what seems to be a very polite society.
Can you read minds?
Yes, I can, under the right circumstances.
I was very much interested in a tale about destiny, about a character that could change his life, and yet his drive, his own hubris, is so strong that it becomes destiny.
I don't think it's like anything Guillermo's ever made before. Every film that he makes, you see this thing that never existed before. This one is very grounded, and yet it feels as though it's very much like in his wheelhouse.
Nightmare Alley is one of the great American novels of the 20th century, and it chronicles the sudden rise and fall of Bradley Cooper as Stan.
Just arrived last night, so I thought.
Of course you did. It's about a man who is finding himself through the world of a traveling carnival and all the people that come with it.
Folks here, they don't make no never mind who you are or what you done. My character takes him in even though he recognizes there's something not right about this guy. This guy's a little off.
Everybody comes to this thing with a different kind of life that they either are running away from or had enough of. The problem with Stanton Carlisle is that he's not meant to fit in.
I still got 5 good pounds of meat and bone right here. Hurt that girl. You get them all.
The carnival world is a magnet for that type of person who doesn't feel that they really belong anywhere else, and yet there's a real unity.
This is a family. There's very much a camaraderie, a sense of the world, and then there's us. But, of course, like any family, there's also betrayals.
To me, it was very interesting to show a carnival where you can have freaks and all these characters that seem to be on the fringes of society, but they are more human in many ways than the people handling the high finance in the big city.
What do I want?
To be found out, same as everybody else.
The film exists in two quite distinct worlds. The world of a carnival, which we understand is full of trickery and deceit, but actually really has a beating heart, like a community in it. And then a polite society that seems to be sort of functional and everyone knows their place. But the darkness that exists in that real world is actually far more threatening and terrifying.
Are you in contact with the beyond?
Well, we've had our share of snake charmers in the past. We deal with them.
Smoke, RJ, and action!
Doctor.
This tale would only work if these great characters are interpreted by great actors. And I think we have one of the greatest casts ever assembled.
All my heroes are in this movie. Bradley Cooper, Toni Collette, Willem Dafoe, Rooney Mara, David Strathairn, Richard Jenkins, and Cate Blanchett. It's like the 27 Yankees, man. It's Murderers Row.
This is a group of actors who are expert in what they do. He's put together a group of people who can express the eccentricities of this world.
Speak to him.
Films are a symphony, and each actor is a precise instrument.
I believe you know to whom I am speaking now, do you not?
You're correct again.
What Bradley brings is an incredibly moving performance because he has all the goodness and physical beauty and an innate grace to show what could be. And at the same time, he brings the skill of one of the most superb actors of his generation to create and embroid a character of deep, deep darkness. I want to shoot him and design everything around him as you would with a movie star in the 1930s. Everything will be carefully presented to make him look as powerful as a presence would in classic cinema.
An Electra complex, is it?
I wouldn't know about that, but you're not as hard to read as you think, lady.
Cate Blanchett. We are going to present her as one of the grand dames of that period of cinema.
Well, I played Dr. Lilith Ritter, who's a consulting psychologist. But what was really fascinating about playing Lilith is that every day we'd discover a new, deep, dark secret. There's a lot of darkness there and a lot of damage to what seems to be a quite pristine exterior.
All right. I'll give you something. In exchange for the truth.
Truth about what?
Yourself. I give you a little information, and you tell me the truth.
In her scenes with Bradley, watching those two work, I mean, it was really like a battle of the titans.
And I kept thinking about Lilith and Stan's relationship as being a little bit like a dance of death. There's a lot of destructive urges.
Never. That word again. We're going to work on that.
Hurry, hurry, hurry. Find out what it feels like right here on Earth. Let the mirrors show you who you are and who you shall be.
We made the conscious choice of building the carnival, but building it on location. There's nothing like going to a place and shooting it.
The carnival world, every frame that I dare look at blows my mind. It's so exquisite, it's so rich and so saturated, and yet so real.
They just built it, and it was fantastic. It wasn't cut up into little areas. It was complete, so you could shoot almost anywhere.
Come on in! Come on in and find out!
We have spent many months researching and designing the carnival. We have been in the hunt for real carnival props from the 30s, a real Ferris wheel, a real merry-go-round.
This carnival is funky. It's got color and it's got attractiveness to it, like cotton candy, but it has a character of its own. It's got decay and eeriness, and, you know, if the walls could talk, kind of like, ooh, man, there's some dark stuff took place here.
That has a very magical atmosphere, but it's not mannered. It's not stylized to the point of becoming too manicured. It's a reality that we will find identifiable and immediate, and yet is visually incredibly arresting.
It's very Guillermo. That's how I would describe it. I don't think anybody else has his aesthetic. He just understands movies on so many levels that when he makes something like this, you feel like it must have felt back then.
Guillermo's films always have an otherworldly quality that it will allow people also to be told a wonderful story, but then I think they'll be left with a lot of unpalatable feelings about themselves and the world in which they live.
Sometimes you have dark thoughts about yourself, don't you?
There's something about Guillermo's ability to visually unearth monstrosities that make this an amazing addition to his body of work.
Stan sits down, we come behind. I want this to be the modern equivalent of the movies that people complain they don't do anymore. I'm not rendering a classic in a classical way. I'm rendering a classic tale in a very alive and modern way. But we're going to try to bring the same craftsmanship and attention to detail that classic cinema has always brought.
You don't fool people, Stan. They fool themselves. Nightmare Alley is it's a dark night of the soul, and it's driven at its center by Stan's unrelenting desire to get to the top at whatever cost.
I've given you a fortune. It's time that you delivered.
When does it end? I want to know.
If you displease the right people, the world closes in on you very, very fast.